Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Shishikoda Nitai Maya Purushashi ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So reading from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, it's volume 6, Uniting Two Worlds. The chapter is entitled Krishna's Great Soldier. I don't think that's going to happen, said Tamal Krishna. We are too much indebted to you to allow what you have established to become spoiled. Please see to that, said Prabhupada. Nevertheless, Srila Prabhupada called for Akshayananda Swami, and as soon as he came into the room, inquired from him, will the bell ring or not? Akshayananda promised to diligently see to it, taking the instruction very seriously, as perhaps his last order from his spiritual master. The Pujari entered and gave Prabhupada a large, fragrant tulsi garland from Krishna Balaram, and Prabhupada returned to listening to the reading. Later in the day, he confided to Tamal Krishna about the past few weeks. I must thank you, he said, that you took me to London and again brought me here without any difficulty. That is a great credit for you. For that I am thanking you. In this condition, a bundle of bones, still you did it. Krishna will bless you. Hari Shauri had obtained another detailed astrological chart on Srila Prabhupada from Delhi. This astrologer recommended a mantra to Lord Shiva to be chanted by 10 brahmanas for 21 days. We have the Maha Mantra, said Srila Prabhupada. There is no need of others. He spoke disapprovingly of the suggestion. Are these astrological charts very much applicable for devotees, Srila Prabhupada? Asked Hari Shauri. No, said Prabhupada. Don't waste money for this astrology. Srila Prabhupada's faith was only in kirtan. Tamal Krishna suggested they again have continuous kirtan, and Prabhupada said, that is real business. These astrologers are karmis. We have nothing to do with the karmis. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, thank you. Cheers. So we have a few things on the Vaishnava calendar today. And one of them is Tulasi Shalagram Vivaha, the wedding of Shalagram and Tulasi Devi. The pastime of the appearance and marriage of Shalagram and Tulasi Devi are as follows. Dharmadvaj and his wife Madhavi very devotedly worshipped Lakshmi Devi to gain her favor, and thus a plenary portion of Lakshmi entered Madhavi Devi's womb. On Kartik Purnima, at a time marked with every auspicious sign, Madhavi gave birth to an exquisitely beautiful young girl, never aging beyond 16 years. Her beauty stole the mind and heart of everyone, and being impossible to compare her with anyone else, she became known as Tulasi, matchless. Leaving home, Tulasi went to Badrivan, where she performed severe penances with a desire in her mind that Lord Narayan himself become her husband. Brahmaji appeared before her and asked what boon she desired. Tulasi explained to him, "In my previous birth, I was a gopi named Tulasi. By my wonderful good fortune, I was able to become the very dearly beloved maid servant of Lord Krishna. One day in Rasa Mandala, Shrimati Radharani angrily cursed me to be born on the earth in human society. Thus, leaving my divine body, I have taken my birth on the earth in this present form. Now I desire the boon of attaining Lord Narayan as my husband." Lord Brahma replied, "There was once cowherd boy named Sudama who also received Shrimati Radharani's curse to be born on the earth. By that curse, he has been born in a family of demons and is now famous on the earth as Sankachuda. He has done extreme penances to attain certain boons and to get you as his wife. Thus, in this life, he will become your husband for some time. Later, by the influence of Lila, you will curse Lord Narayan, but accepting your curse, Lord Narayan will then become your husband. Lord Vishnu will love you more dearly than his own life, and without your presence, all puja will be fruitless. By my boon, becoming the presiding deity of all the trees, you will freely enjoy unlimited happiness in the constant association of Lord Vishnu. Sankachuda also received his desired boon from Lord Brahma. He got an all auspicious protective shield, Kavacha, as well, and the benediction that as long as the chastity of his wife was not violated, no one would be able to kill him. Thus, becoming very arrogant, he began to terrorize all the demigods and human beings. Lord Shiva, being requested by the demigods, went personally to fight with Shankachuda. Meanwhile, Lord Vishnu made a plan to destroy the chastity of Tulasi. He went to the place where Lord Shiva was fighting with the demon, and assuming the form of a Brahmana, he asked Sankachuda for his protective shield and charity. Then the Lord went to see Tulsi. Deceiving her in this way, he began to enjoy with her as if he were her husband, and thus broke her chastity. The Bhavishya Purana goes for great length to point out that there was certainly no fault on Lord Vishnu's part. He wanted to maintain the benediction given by his devotee Lord Brahma to Sankachuda, and at the same time he wanted to protect the demigods and devotees. For this purpose, he created this particular pastime with the appearance of improper behavior. But since Tulasi is plenary part of Lakshmi Devi, she is actually the wife of Lord Vishnu. At that very moment, Lord Shiva killed Sankachuda on the battlefield. When Tulasi understood all that has happened, she said, "By deceiving me, you have broken my chastity and killed my husband. You are absolutely stone-hearted. Thus, I curse you to remain on earth as a stone." Lord Hari said, "For many years you underwent very difficult penances to achieve me. At the same time, Sankachuda has also done severe penances to get you. By the result of his austerity, he enjoyed you as his wife, and he has now gone to Goloka. Now you will get the fruit of your penances. Leaving this mortal body and taking a divine form, you will always remain with me. Your present body shall turn into river Gandaki, and from your hair will grow many trees famous as Tulsi. To fulfill your curse, I will become a stone, Shalagram Shila, and will always live on the banks of the Gandaki river. The millions of worms who live in that place will adorn those stones with the signs of my chakra, by carving them with their sharp teeth. After this, Lord Vishnu began to dwell perpetually in the waters of the Gandaki river in the form of stones. The Brihan Naradiya Purana warns that if one worships a Shalagram Shila and doesn't offer tulsi leaves, then his house is considered equal to a cremation ground. Dear Sri Narada Muni says, it is impossible to explain the importance of tulsi leaves in the worship of Shalagram Shila, as tulsi is the most beloved consort of Hari in the form of Shalagram Shila. Shri Tulasi Shalagram Vivaha ki Jai. It is also the appearance of Shri Nimbarkacharya. Is it appearance? It is appearance of Nimbarkacharya. Appearance. Shri Nimbarkacharya preached Krishna consciousness about 300 years before the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Navadvipdam Mahatmyam, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Nimbarka had previously worshipped Lord Shiva in Bilva Paksha, Rudradvip, Navadvip. Lord Shiva appeared before Nimbarka, instructing him to take initiation from the four Kumaras who were meditating nearby. Nimbarka received Radha Krishna mantra and continued living in Navadvip. Following the teachings of the Sanat Kumar Samhita, he worshipped Radha and Krishna with great love. Soon, Radha and Krishna appeared before Nimbarka. Then the divine couple displayed their unified form as Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Lord Gauranga said, Nimbarka, in the future, when I begin my Sankirtan movement, I will personally preach the perfect transcendental philosophy of Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva. I will take the essence of the philosophies of Madhva, Ramanuja, and Vishnu Swami. From you, Nimbarka, I will take two important principles. One, the necessity of taking shelter of Srimati Radharani, and two, the highest theme of the Vrajgopis love for Krishna. Lord Gauranga disappeared after instructing Nimbarka. Shedding tears of ecstasy, Nimbarka left Navadvip to begin his preaching mission. In Chaitanya Lila, Nimbarka appeared as Keshava Kashmiri and received love of Godhead directly from Nimai Pandit. There are striking similarities between the Gaudiyas and the Nimbarkas. The followers of Nimbarka accept the 6 forms of surrender, practice the 9 limbs of bhakti, and believe in the Dasa Mula, 10 cardinal points of Gaudiya philosophy. They also worship Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. They worship Srimati Radharani as the topmost devotee, and they accept the gopis' love for Krishna as supreme. With beads, bhajan, and kirtan, the Nimbarkas chant their version of the Mahamantra: Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Sham, Sham Sham, Radhe Radhe. In Vrindavan, about 1 mile from Govardhan, there is the village of Nimgaon, named after Nimbarkacharya, who lived there from childhood and later performed pastimes there. Many of Radha Krishna's pastime places in Vrindavan are now maintained by the Nimbarka sect. In Mathura Vrindavan, innumerable devotees follow Nimbarka's path of bhakti. The Shriji Mandir, just off Loy Bazar in Vrindavan, serves as the center of Nimbarka Sampradaya. Shri Nimbarkacharya ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, Text number 22. Mat Praptaye Jesha Sura Sura Dayas Mat Praptaye Jesha Sura Sura Dayas Tapyanta Ugram Tapa Aindriye Diya Tapyanta Ugram Tapa Aindriye Diya Rite Bhavat Pada Parayanan Na Mam Rite Bhavat Pada Parayanan Namam Vindanti Aham Tvad Dridaya Yato Jita Vidantyaham Tvad Dridaya Yato Jita Mat Praptaye Jesha Sura Sura Dayas Tapyanta Ugram Tapa Aindriya Diya Rite Bhavat Pada Parayanan Namam Vidantyaham Tvad Dridaya Yato Jita Mat Praptaye Jesha Sura Sura Dayas Tapyanta ugram tapa aindriye diya. Rite bhavat pada parayanam namam. Vindatyaham tvad hridayaya tojita. Vatayajisha surasura dayas. Tojita. Matpraptayajisha surasura dayas. Tapyanto granta indriya diya. Rite bhavat pada parayanam namam. Yudantyaham tvadridaya yatojita. Matpraptaye jesha surasura dayas. Tapyanta ugram tapa aindriye diya. Rite bhavat pada parayanam namam. Yudantyaham tvadridaya yatojita. Matpraptaye, to obtain my mercy. Adya, Lord Brahma. Isha, Lord Shiva. Sura, the other demigods, headed by King Indra, Chandra, and Varuna. Asura Adayaha, as well as the demons. Tapyante, undergo. Ugram, severe. Tapaha, austerity. Aindriyadiyaha, whose minds are absorbed in thoughts of superior sense gratification. Rite, unless. Bhavat Pada Parayanat, one who is wholly and solely engaged in service of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. Na, not. Mam, me. Vindanti, obtain. Aham, I. Tvat, in you. Hridaya, whose hearts. Yataha, therefore. Ajita, O unconquerable one. Translation approved by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki. Jai. O Supreme Unconquerable Lord, when they become absorbed in thoughts of material enjoyment, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as well as other demigods and demons, undergo severe penances and austerities to receive my benedictions. But I do not favor anyone, however great he may be, unless he is always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Because I always keep you within my heart, I cannot favor anyone but a devotee. Purport. In this verse, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, clearly states that she does not bestow her favor on any materialistic person. Although sometimes a materialist becomes very opulent in the eyes of another materialist, such opulence is bestowed upon him by the goddess Durga Devi, a material expansion of the goddess of fortune, not by Lakshmi Devi herself. Those who desire material wealth worship Durga Devi with the following mantra: Dhanam Dehi Rupam Dehi Rupa Pati Bhajam Dehi. O worshipable Mother Durga Devi, please give me wealth, strength, fame, a good wife, and so on. By pleasing Goddess Durga, one can obtain such benefits, but since they are temporary, they result only in Maya Sukha, illusory happiness. As stated by Prahlad Maharaj, Maya Sukhaya Baram Udvahato Vimudhan. Those who work very hard for material benefits are Vimudas. Foolish rascals, because such happiness will not endure. On the other hand, devotees like Prahlad and Dhruva Maharaj achieved extraordinary material opulences, but such opulences were not Maya Sukha. When a devotee acquires unparalleled opulences, they are the direct gifts of the goddess of fortune who resides in the heart of Narayan. The material opulences a person obtains by offering prayers to the goddess Durga are temporary. As described in Bhagavad Gita 7.23, Antavatu palam tesham tad bhavatyalpa medasam. Men of meager intelligence desire temporary happiness. We have actually seen that one of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted to enjoy the property of his spiritual master, and the spiritual master, being merciful toward him, gave him the temporary property, but not the power to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. That special mercy of the power to preach is given to a devotee who does not want anything material from his spiritual master, but wants only to serve him. The story of the demon Ravana illustrates this point. Although Ravana tried to abduct the goddess of fortune Sita Devi from the custody of Lord Ramachandra, he could not possibly do so. The Sita Devi he forcibly took with him was not the original Sita Devi, but an expansion of Maya or Durga Devi. As a result, instead of winning the favor of the real goddess of fortune, Ravana and his whole family were vanquished by the power of Durga Devi. Srishti Stiti Pralaya Sadhana Shaktir Eka. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपादकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं सग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथं तं सजीवं सद्वितं सवदुतं परिजनसहितं Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. The translation again. O Supreme Unconquerable Lord, when they become absorbed in thoughts of material enjoyment, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as well as other demigods and demons, undergo severe penances and austerities to receive my benedictions. But I do not favor anyone, however great he may be, unless he is always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Because I always keep you within my heart, I cannot favor anyone but a devotee. So, the obsession with wealth in this material world is very, very prominent because what is really attractive about wealth is not so much the wealth itself, but because it facilitates to fulfill material desires. Practically, with wealth, if you look at the opulences of Krishna, with wealth, if you are a very wealthy person, you can buy everything else. Even if you are maybe ugly person, you can find beautiful women, and you can hire the most intelligent people in the world working for you, and you have this very powerful and strong bodyguards. Even if maybe like a very weak and small person, you can see some of the historical leaders of the world, some of the most powerful leaders were quite small people, like Napoleon. He wasn't such a big guy. Uh, Putin actually is not such a big person either. And Churchill, I believe, wasn't such a big guy neither. So you're quite small people, but because they're very, very powerful, influential, they can gain practically any uh, opulence, what is considered opulence in the material world. And so therefore wealth is very attractive, and therefore since time immemorial people are very fascinated um, about gaining more wealth, because it fulfills your desires. And the driving force of the living entity in this material world is the desire. Material world is a perverted reflection of spiritual world. So the focus that is there on Krishna in the spiritual world, in this material world, becomes focus on yourself, what you can gain, how you can gratify your senses, and that becomes like a center. So in order to fulfill those desires, people become obsessed about getting more and more wealth. And especially in this age of Kali, those desires become completely out of control. Because when there is some mode of goodness in the society, the desires manifest in a more detached way, doing something good for the society. There is some knowledge, there is a certain degree of detachment. So those desires for wealth, it doesn't influence so much a person who is in a mode of goodness. Or if he does have a wealth, like a brahmanas is considered in a Vedic system, they have their certain position in society, that they get a lot of wealth as donations, but they don't keep it, and they distribute it further. So that influence of mode of goodness. But in the age of Kali, that becomes very, very reduced, and mode of passion becomes very prominent, and mode of ignorance. So in the mode of passion, there is many, many desires, and to fulfill them, people are prepared to do like really severe austerities. You can see what people are prepared to do for money nowadays is phenomenal and even crazy. Shishikodanetaya Maya Pushashiki. Yeah, I know one person who was working 120 hours a week or something, like 3 jobs, uh, just to, just to gain some wealth, and actually really damaged their health. But anyway, become a devotee in the end after going through all the frustration. So the desires are so intense as well, and out of control, that to fulfill them, to get their new gadget or whatever, car, or pay the bill or mortgage, a lot of people, they have to really burn themselves in so many jobs and perform like a really, really severe austerities to gain that wealth. And then often as a result, people burn themselves out. So there is also so much stress, anxiety, and then it kind of shifts to depression, and various mental health issues, and etc. So still we can see, it seems like externally, if you look at it externally, it seems that people who work hard, they seem to be gain something. And also some of the wealthiest people in the world, some of them seem to be working very, very hard, and they gain their wealth. But on the other hand, you see other people working very hard, and they don't get anything, uh, despite of the fact that they work as hard as some others. And some people is called they're born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Of course, nowadays even those wealthiest people, they don't eat so much with the silver and golden spoons. This is more coming from the past. This principle that silver and gold could be used, for taking your lunch. But even the wealthiest people nowadays, apart of maybe king and queen, they maybe still eat with a silver spoon. So some people are born with a silver spoon in their mouth, like in very rich and wealthy situations, and seem to be completely effortlessly, they got immense wealth. So speaking about fairness and equality is a very big thing nowadays. It doesn't seem to be such a fair situation. Some people work so hard, they don't get anything. Some people don't do absolutely nothing, and they like flourish. And some people they work hard and they get something. It seems to be like it doesn't make sense from a material point of view how this whole thing functions. However, as we can see, there is a principle that is working behind this, and there is a goddess of fortune uh, that is in charge of these kind of things. And in material world, she's got an expansion, Durga. So any type of wealth, whatever the case may be, there must be some piety that has been performed in the previous lives. So there is nothing, no wealth can come to anyone without any pious activity. And even some people who seem to be just like rogues and thieves and etc. to make their wealth, they kind of abuse their position. Still, karmically, somewhere along the line, they had this benediction to get wealth, and they actually spoil in the next life. They don't get anything. So there is this law of action and reaction, and whoever has got this any wealth or any other type of opulences that Krishna has got, the six opulences, and whether it is fame or knowledge or strength, is all coming from past lives. And the problem with this Durga and material wealth, and Durga means difficult. One of the meanings of Durga means difficult. The difficulty is that people are trying to get that wealth without Krishna. Lakshmi, the original goddess of fortune, she is actually an eternal consort of Lord Narayan. But people in this world, they want to get Lakshmi Devi without Lord Narayan. They want to enjoy the Lakshmi. Just like this mentality is personified by Ravan that is mentioned in the purport, who was is considered less personified. So he wanted the goddess of fortune, and he was a demon. He wasn't a devotee of the Lord. He was opposite. He wanted to steal the Lakshmi Devi or Sita Devi, who is expansion of Lakshmi Devi, without Lord Narayan. So what he got, instead of Lakshmi Devi, he got instead a illusory Sita. And that illusory Sita become a cause of his ultimate destruction. If she didn't stay with him, because his motivation was just like what I can get. I wanted to enjoy for myself. And that's what happens with the wealth of material world. No matter how pious you were in a previous life, no matter how much wealth you gain in this life because of your piety, or maybe you become rogue or thief, and no matter how much wealth you gained, it doesn't stay with you. It's called chanchala, because without Lord Narayan and his lotus feet, the Lakshmi Devi will never stay for a long time. And it's not even Lakshmi Devi, it's the illusory or material representation of her, Durga Devi. So Durga Devi, she doesn't stay for a long time, and she just creates a difficulty. As you can see, together with wealth, it comes, even though it looks very promising. I just can do anything I like. I can travel the world. I can have so many women and cars and etc. Everything what I want, I can get. You can see a lot of difficulty comes with that wealth, anxiety to maintain it. The status quo is one of the biggest anxieties in the world. To keep a certain social position in the society, it takes a lot of effort. And when you reach a certain status, you don't want to go down. You have to maintain it so it requires, if you really work hard to reach a certain status, then to maintain it, it requires a massive amount of effort. And as you know, to stay in the mode of goodness, to maintain something, if you are not practicing mode of goodness, is extremely difficult, because you want to also squander the money that you have. You want to spend it out. You want to enjoy. So it becomes a massive challenge to maintain it and to work hard. And as somebody was mentioned, was it Prana Prabhu in another class, that the rich people, the richer you are, the higher is your fence. You have this, big fortresses where the rich people, I think there's another devotee was saying how he was going door to door in a poor area. It's easy to enter, and they give like a happily just like a few pounds. But if you try to do door to door, rich people, it's like a many obstacles to get there. Or we also do businesses. If you want to see a person who hasn't yet become so wealthy, it's possible to see an owner. But when the company becomes a little bit bigger, there's like a secretary, and the boss is like a many obstacles to get to the boss. It's like a no chance to see a CEO. Some guy just came to see to do a charity. It's impossible to see the guy because he's got so many fortresses protecting his place. So there's so many difficulties comes with the material wealth and to maintain the status quo. Or Prabhupada quotes this other guy. He was about to die. He was a very wealthy person, and he was begging from the doctor, please somehow or another give me another 1 or 2 years to live. I haven't finished a few of my plans. I still got a factory. I still got this to buy and this business to do, and etc. Just begging for a few more years, and then he's dead, leaving everything behind. And we don't know what's the destination after this kind of life. Is even if you're extremely wealthy person in this life, it's almost unlikely, it's very unlikely that you're gonna maintain your status in the next life, even if you worked very hard to maintain your status in the end of life. Like, who knows what's going to be your next life after you had to so much step on other people's heads. And you can see some of those big wealthy companies, they just like, and as soon as something starts to rise with this new company, and they swallow it and then another one comes up, swallow it. Facebook bought Instagram, and then another company bought this one, and etc. They just like swallowing everything around until they, some monopoly law comes in and then starts separate everything, and create some more fairness in the business. So you cannot really maintain this wealth. Is on the only way to possible to have a wealth in a sustainable way is actually to become completely detached from it, and aim for Krishna, aim for Lord Narayan. That's the only way for the Lakshmi to remain. Lakshmi will only stay where Lord Narayan is present. And it is such an important principle for us as devotees. And there is so many examples as well of that, including His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And Prabhupada used to quote his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He says, do something very nice for Krishna and Lakshmi will come. And of course, Prabhupada is well exemplified in his life. He was, throughout his life, was a great devotee of the Lord. And in his kind of material life, you could say, of course, a devotee doesn't have a material life, but he's externally performing this activities of earning money and maintaining the family, and of course, he does it for Krishna. But that actually failed at some point. But later on, when Prabhupada came to the West to preach, and he struggled as well for a year, but when there was a ripe time, then Krishna provided everything, unbelievably a large amount of various types of wealth came in forms of temples and the money, and so much opulence, and all around the world Prabhupada received. but he didn't use anything for his own sense gratification. Every penny he used was in Krishna's service. So this is the fundamental principle that devotee doesn't want any wealth for himself. He doesn't want Lakshmi for himself, but devotee wants uh, to please Krishna. And in order to glorify and please Krishna, this blessing of goddess of fortune is required and necessary. For himself, he doesn't want anything but to glorify and please Krishna and please the deities, and to spread Sankirtan movement. A lot of Lakshmi is actually required. So sometimes devotees consider, Lakshmi just a material thing. Let's just get rid of it and sleep under the tree. And technically speaking, Prabhupada said, yes, we can do that. But because we have received this mission from spiritual master, then we need lots of Lakshmi to spread this movement. And as we can see in the purport, there was one disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta who wanted some wealth for himself, and he didn't receive that blessing to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in order to become empowered, you devotee must cultivate that he doesn't want anything for himself. He wants everything for Krishna. And then Krishna can supply whatever is necessary. So if you cultivate this purity, and it's very, very important actually for devotees to have a very strong sadhana and very strong purity, because this just the nature of living entity is to desire. It cannot become desireless. So if a living entity doesn't desire spiritual thing, then it will desire material thing. And if it doesn't desire material thing, if you're cultivating spiritual life, and that purification in the heart will bring detachment. The devotee just wants to please Krishna. So if we are not cultivating strong sadhana, then just automatically there will be somewhere along the line material desire will manifest, and desire for whatever, whether it's some fame or some adoration or some gain, some wealth, and some desire to use that, in a subtle ways, to enjoy it in some subtle ways. So a devotee, and it is a very big challenge as well, as devotees practice Krishna consciousness, they become stronger and purer, and the desire increases to please Krishna. Then Krishna starts supplying. The devotee wants to preach, to share, and to glorify, and to serve Krishna in many ways. And because of that purity and surrender, then Lakshmi Devi starts blessing devotee. Because of that presence of Krishna in devotee's heart, in devotee's consciousness, in devotee's life, Lakshmi Devi starts blessing, and the Lakshmi starts coming in. But then it is a very big, it's easier to be a surrendered soul and pure when you have nothing. And then we can all be detached. We have nothing, we eating khichdi and etc., living an austere life. But when a lot of success start coming in the form of Lakshmi Devi, there's some funds coming in, we have these various like wonderful projects and etc. It's a massive and huge test actually for devotees to maintain that purity. And there is also a tendency when you're riding on a wave of success is to become very busy and neglect that sadhana, in that in the first place brought Krishna in life and brought the blessings of Lakshmi Devi in life. So if you are not maintaining that purity, when things start, Krishna starts supplying his mercy, then we can get carried away. And there is a lot of examples in scripture. Prabhupada says that one can get carried away by wealth and attraction from women. there can be this mode of passion can come in a devotee's life when one neglects sadhana and is still trying to, that tap of Lakshmi Devi doesn't switch off suddenly. You can still you can kind of already entering a material sphere in terms of your consciousness, but the tap may still be running and spinning because of whatever, Krishna sometimes even can test you by supplying you wealth, just to see, how sincere you are. Are you really want to please him, or are you really or really you just you're surrendered soul, but as soon as you start getting some wealth and influence, then you just get carried away in that wave of success, and sometimes it still can keep coming, but you're already on the material platform, kind of misguided or misdirected. So therefore, one has to be very, very careful and maintain one's spiritual practices very strongly, whether there is success and there isn't success. And that is the foundational principle. Then Krishna will continue supplying his mercy in the form of wealth, and then we have to use this every penny. We shouldn't claim anything for ourselves. We should, as Prabhupada exemplified himself, despite of unlimited supply that Lakshmi Devi provided to establish this Krishna consciousness movement, he didn't use a penny for himself. So we have to make sure that we are using, what is our prescribed quota. Better, it will be different, of course, for brahmachari, grihastha. Will be different for people who are living in a temple, or people who are living outside of the temple and working. There will be a different quota, and also if you go to different stages of life, this also will be a different quota that is necessary. But we shouldn't take any more than that, and then everything should be used in Krishna service. And then, because of that presence of Krishna, Lakshmi Devi will be present, and then we can do some wonderful preaching and work and build the beautiful temples, do wonderful projects. And there is so many as well. We have 7 purposes of ISKCON, and some of them does require investment. Like even to live a simple life is required to investment. If you want to achieve self-sufficiency nowadays, you have to invest a lot of money in order to live a simple life. It's a paradox of the modern day, because people need to have roof over their head. It's freezing in half of the world. It's absolutely freezing. You need a heat. It's not India where you can have open walls. And also Prabhupada said one of the purposes of ISKCON is to build a place of pilgrimage for Krishna's pastimes. So that also costs money. If you want to make a nice place for people to come and benefit, you just can't just invite person and say, look, this is the tree, and basically just lie down tonight here. It has to be, you have to offer some accommodation for people to sleep overnight. And also, we don't, as well, like devotees, sometimes devotees, they go with the big holes in their socks, and to show how detached they are. And of course, this is absolutely wonderful if you lived 500 years ago. But if you become like a holy in the modern day and you try to preach, people really don't take you seriously. I mean, some people will take you seriously, but you want to kind of broaden a little bit of spectrum and not just attract people to the movement who appreciate your holy socks because they also got holy socks and they think we have a lot in common, so these guys are cool. But we actually want to outreach to all types of spheres of society, and therefore we have to make sure that our socks are not holy if we want to attract more serious people to this movement. So I stop here. Are there any questions or comments on this? Yes, Prabhu.
Then the socks will be golden.
Yeah, we have to make sure that the holy socks is not just is not the only thing that is holy about us. sometimes that becomes like I'm just completely detached, and that means that I'm Krishna conscious because my old socks are holy, my old dresses are holy, and I wear a t-shirt. I lost my head in Vrindavan rather than the heart in Vrindavan, and then you consider this is the highest degree of holiness. This is becoming a swami by doing that. So that's also another kind of extreme, because devotee, whatever, like Prabhupada said, if he has to live under the tree, we live under the tree, but if he has to live in the palace, then this is our service as well. So we need to represent Prabhupada's mission. I can see the devotees represent, they're very clean and they wear, tidy dress and etc. And while on the one hand they are not bothered, but at the same time they know that people are bothered, and because the people are bothered, they will take you a lot more seriously, and they will take a lot more seriously your message. If you just got the holy socks, people won't listen to you. You had something else?
Yeah, I was just going to ask a question. Because sometimes devotees, like we have this prayer every morning, they pray. Question. And what's the point of prayer? She knows what the devotee needs, so she's going to give it anyway. And we used to find when we were focusing on Lakshmi, collecting Lakshmi, that was one thing, but when we focused on distributing books, the Lakshmi came even more than we tried to collect Lakshmi. To the point where if we were on a marathon and we're trying to balance out books and Lakshmi, so that sometimes you do so many books, a bit more Lakshmi comes in, so you think, well, tomorrow we can afford to get a bit more books. And each day you're doing that, and Lakshmi is even bigger, and the books are going bigger. But so it seems like the old saying is that you can't have Lakshmi without Narayan. So if you put Narayan forward first, Lakshmi will come automatically because she's always Narayan. So, sometimes wonder myself about the prayer we have there.
I guess what we wanted to do with this prayer, because we have these three goals, financial stability, more devotees and happy devotees, establish some devotee care. So I guess what happened there. We just wanted to verbalize it, the financial stability, and use the word Lakshmi. But technically speaking, we could put there Radharani or something, because she's the original Lakshmi Devi. That we need a blessing of Radharani, and because by her mercy you get Krishna. Sorry. Yeah. Yes. So I guess there is, that kind of brings us some remembrance that, this Lakshmi Devi is ultimately is belonging to Krishna, and we not get Lakshmi without Krishna. So anyway, things evolved. We could look at it and see whether it's still relevant. But technically speaking, we wanted to verbalize it, our goals, into prayer. And when we speak about, we didn't want to say, we want money, our financial stability. But why we do want financial stability is that we can expand this movement and we can care for devotees. If you're just like a struggling completely, it's difficult to have this focus. But you can then actually balance. You can bring a good balance of hearing or chanting if you're more financially stable. That devotees, inspired and spiritually strong and etc. And then that will bring more Lakshmi, and that will bring more people, automatically. So I guess it's just yes. No, I finished the thing.
Yes, so if it's seen properly according to this verse here, then Lakshmi doesn't favour anyone unless they're engaged in service, unless they're always engaged in service.
Yes.
So if we actually, as depends on the devotee's conscience, if they're thinking in these terms, then our motivation is whatever comes, we'll use it in the Lord's service. Our motivation is to serve the Lord and Lord's mission. And as you say, in class 1, movement needs money to do things. Otherwise, if we're just going to walk to Glasgow and Sankirtan or whatever, then we may do Sankirtan once a week with very sore feet.
Yes.
As long as they know his motivation is correct, if we're just thinking, We want more money so we can just put our feet up.
Yes.
We don't have to work direct.
No, it's interesting as well, this principle of always engaging in service, and that will bring the Lakshmi. It's also devotee has to engage it intelligently. It was very interesting question that came up and visited Bhaktivedanta Manor last time when Shivaram Swami came and a few devotees went to see him. So I think on the first or second day when we went there was I think it's the first day actually, there was a program with Bhakti Charu Swami's Vyasa Puja, and there was lots of his disciples there. And Shivaram Swami, he likes to shake people up, and get them out of comfort zone. So it was kind of, his message was more or less like, it's very, very nice, we're glorifying the spiritual master, is wonderful, and we offer the flowers and etc. But he was saying, the real way to please spiritual master, you really must put yourself out of comfort zone to please the spiritual master, and really work hard, and sacrifice your life in his service. So he was kind of shaking the Bhakti Charan Swami's disciples there and whoever else was there, full house in a new Haveli. And then the next day, we had a darshan with him, and there was, a few devotees there from Scotland. We were very fortunate. In fact, it was just him and us. It was just like a few devotees there. And then he was speaking about balance in spiritual life. So then I asked him, Maharaj, yesterday you were saying, to please spiritual master, you have to really sacrifice and be like a totally out of comfort zone. And I said, and today you're speaking about the balance. And then I was saying, like in my own life, there was a, good few years I was like killing myself in the service and like always engaged. But my sadhana was very poor, and the results wasn't very limited as well. And over the last few years, I really tried to focus on my sadhana, and Krishna gives more opportunities for service. So just asking, how to reconcile this. You have to kill yourself, in the service of Guru, and also you're speaking about the balance. So you were saying that. To be out of comfort zone, something often devotees influenced by mode of passion, they misunderstand what does it mean to be out of comfort zone. He said it doesn't have to be physical thing. It doesn't have to be that you broke yourself down in terms of physically and mentally and work so hard that your health completely suffers. It says, being, sometimes even doing that can be a comfort zone. Just to kill yourself, and this is all what you're doing, and you don't know anything else. That can be a comfort zone, just to work so hard and actually to stop and to read Prabhupada's books. That is out of comfort zone. And so he's saying, just to sit down and do a strong, good sadhana, that can be a comfort zone for you, to be out of comfort, and that can be what is going to please the spiritual master. So this is what you were speaking about, the balance. You actually have to maintain that balance very strongly. So there is a strong presence of Krishna in your life. So when you go out to preach, you are not just limited by your karmic capacity of speak or make money, or whatever your capacity and inclination karmically is, but you're actually empowered by Krishna's presence in your life. It's a completely different quality effort when you come out and do the service, when Krishna's presence is strongly in your life. Then whatever you do, you will obviously see this is, the things will come about beyond your personal expectation and beyond your personal capacity. You will achieve a lot more, and even often far beyond expectation what you can do, technically speaking, because of that mercy and blessing of Krishna is there, and blessing of Lakshmi Devi is there. So when we speak about being fully absorbed in service, then that doesn't only mean just like being physically fully engaged, from the morning until you drop on your bed, but that also include 9 devotional processes of Krishna consciousness, that also includes, when we speak about being fully engaged in devotional service, hearing, chanting, remembering, praying, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, befriending the Lord. Then when we are inspired and surcharged with that hearing and chanting, then is Vaisheshika Prabhu calls it distribution of overflow. And then so many things will come in that consciousness. There will be sufficient wealth and Lakshmi and resources. And Krishna will send the people along in that powerful spiritual atmosphere. Lots of manpower will come too when that focus is proper. So I think we're running out of time. Yes, we'll just answer with one question. Yes, Paul.
Or I can ask later when we see that.
Okay, answer in one sentence if it's not complicated.
Just in this translation, it says Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva undergo severe penances and austerities. So is it like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva also wanting to receive benediction from Lakshmi Devi and opulences like that?
So I think there could be a couple of things. One is that, just for comparison's sake, that even people in very, very powerful positions, they can get carried away. So no matter how great we may be, that influence can happen. As you can see in the Lord Brahma, we have a pure devotee Lord Brahma in this universe, but it's not in all universes that Lord Brahma is a pure devotee. So that influence or mode of passion can be there. So even those people can undergo. And also, in order to become a Lord Brahma as well, it requires like an unbelievable amount of piety, birth after birth after birth, in order to gain that post. So also when speaking about wealth, that wealth includes some very powerful influence. Like Lord Brahma has got a massive influence over the entire universe. So that means there is some desire in a little living entity to control. A part of being very pious, there is also that strong drive of Ishvara Bhava to control, and then Krishna puts that pious person in that position. So I don't know if that answers your question. Yes, thank you. Yes, so.
No addition to.
Please.
I was just thinking, considering the current state in the international setting of Krishna consciousness, at least in the Western world, as far as the balancing is concerned, yes, it's true. Balancing is very important. But if you read actually this verse in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says one should balance in one's recreation. Whatever. What is the verse? Recreation and eating and sleeping and recreation.
And work.
The Prabhupada says the ideal of this balancing is Rupa Goswami, the Sanatana Goswami, who slept only 2 hours.
Yes.
So this is Prabhupada's estimation. This is balancing.
True.
What I wanted to say that, ultimate issue, our international study of Krishna versus Prabhupada's ISKCON is targeted towards preaching and bringing results. This is the like a priority. We have this, yes, we have to have a good sadhana, but our priority is not to have a good sadhana, our priority is to bring results to Prabhupada. And of course, to bring results, as you said, we have to have a good sadhana.
Yes.
I was just thinking, when you're speaking about this example of ex-Harikesh when he was about to go to Russia at that time, and he said, but Prabhupada, they don't have any vegetables there. He said, eat whatever is available. But he said, but Prabhupada, there's only meat there. Can I eat meat? I mean, what will happen to my consciousness? And Prabhupada says, to hell with your consciousness. So I'm just saying how Prabhupada went so far that this Palena Parichayate is the guiding principle to all other aspects, as he said, 9 limbs of bhakti and everything. But just there, of course, for us to make advancement, but our actually guiding principle, leading principles is preaching and bringing results for Prabhupada.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
think it's a good point because it helps actually bring the proper balance. Because sometimes one might think this is balance, that's balance, and what's the principle which will determine the balance.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much for Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki